we doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. Let's go first.
You talked about being more physical this week in practice. Was that the case, and how'd that go?
Yeah, it was very physical. Yeah, guys were definitely encouraged by themselves, by coaches, by former players. There's a certain brand of football that exists at NC State that needs to be on the field, and it wasn't last week. And it starts with being a physical bunch of guys, you know, and that's in essence the DNA. You know, it starts with physicality. And so that was preached and talked a lot about. Obviously, our opponent believes in the same thing. It's going to be a really physical football game. And so Tuesday and Wednesday were that. They were really physical practices led by the players. They did a great job pushing each other, competing. Did a lot of good on good this week to get the speed of the game that we need to do that. So definitely put the work in.
Is that something you can do every week or just periodically?
It depends on the health of your team. You know, I mean, it's not like we do an hour of it, but you do enough of it that you get that strain across from you. The picture's different, it's moving, and it's not the opponent looks. You're just running your defense, your offense, and giving them that starter on the other side of the ball that is playing with a little bit different twitch and got mechanical difficulties here. Yeah, I mean, you'd love to do it all the time, but you know, you put yourself at risk doing too much of it. So it's kind of a sweet spot there.
Was there any position group or players that you saw kind of step up and really take that challenge on?
There isn't one that needs to do it better. It's a team thing, you know. Like we have to play 11-man football that way. I said this after the game. There's some guys that are playing that way, and their teammates need to play that way with them. And I'm not going to single one group out. Everybody needs to do it together.
You mentioned former players. Did you have any former players come in and talk or to the team?
No, not directly, but there were phone calls made, and they weren't because we asked them to. You know, these guys want each other to play well. And, you know, when you leave as a former player, you want the guys behind you to carry the torch forward and not just do what you did, but raise the bar, you know. And so that's what you call your legacy. And there's a established way that we play the game. Obviously, hard, tough together is something that goes way earlier than my tenure here. And we believe in that. And so it's getting back to the identity of our football team.
How much of a focus was it this week to work on getting off to a fast start and maybe not having to play from behind quite as much?
Yeah, that'd be great. I mean, it's funny, people talk about that. Like every week you want to start that way. You want to have a lead. But, you know, I can't do that for them. They got to get out there and not have pre-snap penalties that are preventable, not have a holding penalty that takes away a 20-yard run. You know, not give up an explosive play in the first drives. You just go out there and do what you're supposed to do. You do your job. You do it with an intensity. You do it like you're the only guy on the field that can get this done. You play with that kind of demeanor and pride about your performance. And at the end of the day, they got to care a lot about their film. Their film is their resume. And as a coach, I look at that film as a reflection of my coaching. And so in both cases, we got to be better. It's a we, us, and ours venture around here. And I take it personal, you know. I understand when we don't play well, it's a reflection. And I don't like that reflection. So I'm doing my part, you know, to get this thing right. Now it's their turn to go out on that grass and fight for it.
Brown at Northern Illinois is a terrific running back and clearly very loyal to his school.
Yeah.
But he also hurts you in the passing game.
Good player.
Anything you do with Sean Brown or any of the linebackers, just be aware of where he is as a receiver?
He's a good football player. You know, I have a lot of respect for him, and obviously they use him well. They find matchups for him. You can't always do that, you know. Sometimes you can. Third down's a lot easier to put who you want on people when it's a passing situation, but they get him the ball off of play actions and wheel routes off of run plays too. So, you know, you got to use your rules, and guys need to know where he is. He's a very good football player.
Is there anything different that you've seen from Coach Gibson in terms of the way he's kind of running things on his side of the ball in practice this week?
It's been really intense, you know, and I think a lot of it just comes from a reflection, like I said. Coach Gibson's a guy that every day shows up with the same expectations, you know. And I think, you know, his job this week was to make it very clear that some of those expectations weren't being met. And because of that, you'll see different guys starting the game in certain positions, you know. And at some point, it's not tryouts, you know. It's the best guy, that's the toughest guy, that's the most consistent guy gets those reps. And reps are earned, not given. And so, you know, like I said earlier, guys aren't being given up on, but they're being challenged. And Coach Gibson's challenging his side of the ball. Coach and I is challenging his. Coach Goebel his. And each position coach the same. And obviously that directive starts with me, with them. And it's been a week of that, you know, being challenged, understanding what we did last week on the field, in my opinion, was an embarrassing reflection of who we are as a program. It's not what I believe in, definitely not what these kids believe in. Doesn't mean I don't care about them. I love these guys, but I also love what our program stands for, toughness. And so we're back to that, and we'll see if it shows up on Saturday, because that's what this is all about. Each game's a test. It's a mental test, a physical test, an emotional test. It's all that, you know, for a coach and a player.
We talked to Isaiah Shirley a couple days ago. He
Yeah.
mentioned one of the hardest parts of this weekend was just being honest and reflecting upon what they put on film. What were some of the honest kind of reflections you felt as a team that you all had to really look in the mirror and see?
It's ownership, you know. I mean, I think accountability starts with that. And as a coach, things that, you know, I'm seeing, not, you know, believing in transparency, also, you know, not demeaning, being very demanding, demanding more, demanding competition at certain positions, demanding the best that we can get out of each player, demanding the coaches deliver, you know, with what their position groups are responsible to do. And that's what it's about. And, you know, those team meetings, it's like, you know, you can sweep it under the rug and it's just gonna come right back out and get you, you know? Like, you know what you gotta fix. We've been through this before. It's just a different issue this time. And we're doing it with grace and outs, you know? So it's playing with a young quarterback. You're gonna have some guys around him that have to step up and play really hard on that side of the ball, and the defense needs to do their part, getting us the ball in good field positions.
And IU is a high effort team, we know.
Sure.
Schematically, are they also intricate, or how's it preparing for that?
Yeah, it's a different intricacy, you know. I mean, there are a lot of edges in their run game. They do a good job making you defend a lot of formations. There's a lot of eye candy, a lot of blocking schemes, a lot of bodies and misdirection with it. And then obviously off of that stuff comes nakeds and play actions and screens, and then third down is third down, you know. So they do a great job with their system. They understand who they are. Coach Hammock's a really good football coach, and he's got a good staff. You know, I'm really impressed with what he's doing and the way that they've been able to do what they've done. You know, I mean, it's hard in that landscape. When you look at non-power 4 teams, and when they have a good player, how many people are trying to get those players to leave schools? It happens here. You know, I mean, you leave the locker room after a game and there's agents trying to track kids down all over the place, and it's unhealthy. And so what he's been able to do, I mean, you see 4-year starter, 4-year starter, 3-year starter. There's guys there that are staying, and that's a great reflection of what coach has done there.
Do you think
More.
Do you think preparing for a high effort team indirectly helps your team, because you know you have to match that effort and then exceed that effort?
Well, we respect this opponent. I'm sure that does help. But I'll be honest, man, this is about their pride. And that other side of the ball, it's about how we play football. And yeah, we're going to play a physical team, but it's more about how we play football. Like, we've got to get back to the DNA of who we are and take pride in what we put on film. Like, that film is a forever record of effort, is what it is. It's a forever record of effort. And for eternity, how you played in this game on this day is on record. You know, win or lose, but the effort needs to be winning. And that's what I'm looking at. And everyone cares more about the wins and losses. I understand that. I care about the DNA and the toughness and the way these guys play for each other. That's what I'm coaching, you know, and how hard we play is a reflection of what ends up on the scoreboard. Thank you, guys.